Hello, my name is Ági Bori, and I'm a translator for Hungarian author Miklós Vámos. And today I'll be reading an excerpt from his novel titled Mother's Nature Remembered, or Anya csak egy van in Hungarian. It's a sobering novel that's partially based on his own experiences. It's been a passion of his to dedicate a novel to each of his parents. In this way, this is a perfect complement to his most well-known novel, The Book of Fathers. When, on the fourth day, his mother was unexpectedly kicked out of the hospital ward that housed the suicidal patients, Lado was close to beating up the head physician. When one of the nurses called and informed him that he could take his mother home, he got into his car at once and burned up the road on his way to the hospital. He was grinding his teeth as he pictured himself flinging open the white door with its scarcely remaining patches of lacquered paint. He pictured the round-headed doctor sitting at his desk, placed close to the window at an angle, reading a professional review, if the money-hungry asshole ever reads any reviews at all, looking up in surprise to see Lado. "Can I help you, sir?" But instead of answering, Lado would step up to the head physician, remove his golden-framed glasses with a single elegant move, smash them to tiny pieces, scatter the remains all over the floor, do a little step dance on them to complete what he'd started, the little shards of glass and the metal parts crackling under his shoes, but that would only be the beginning. Lado then, utilizing scissor kicks, would spring on top of the desk, grab the head physician's face and kick it with his knee, rip out a ribbon-like piece of his perfectly clean shirt, only to wipe up the gurgling blood, then get a hold of his bottom lip with both hands and tug at it, stretch it upwards, try to pull it over his almost perfectly round head until the fleshed hairs and the nerves snap. Then he would start to knock out his impeccable teeth one by one, while at the same time asking a pointed question to accompany each crunch. "I understand you have to get rid of my mother because suddenly someone else is in greater need of a bed? The day before yesterday, when I slipped 15,000 forints into your pocket, you made a speech about taking care of my dear mother until she's perfectly healthy, but now you happen to need her place, don't you? You mean 15,000 wasn't enough? My mother's entire monthly pension is 16,000, you motherfucker. How much do you want for doing what you're obligated to do anyway? You've been kissing my ass so politely until now. I'll be glad to do this, Mr. Lado, and I'll do that with pleasure, Mr. Lado. And now you're about to send my mother over to the insane asylum in Lipótmező, just like that, because her private practitioner, Dr. Gisela Bartosik, works there, when I've told you in a perfectly comprehensible way that my mother had left that place a couple weeks ago. Besides, the fact that she'd attempted suicide is not exactly proof for what you'd call a successful medical result, is it? How can you be sending her back there? Have you forgotten our agreement? We said we'd look for an appropriate sanatorium as part of the follow-up treatment. Or have you forgotten it? Or what? How can you be such a fucking ass, doctor? Can you hear what I'm saying?" Because, of course, by then, he would have torn off the head physician's ears too. What happened instead was that as soon as he sat down onto the tiny couch, upholstered with imitation leather, he ceased to be Lado the funny, the comedian known all over the country, and morphed into a submissive relative of his mother, a piece of work. The man with the round hat told him in an official voice that the current treatment of his dear mother had ended, and successfully so, but she had to be placed in another medical institute for the follow-up treatment. It was only logical that he thought of her own private practitioner, but if Mr. Lado had a different idea, he'd welcome a suggestion. Lado tried desperately to concentrate. "What other idea could I have?" he asked, but then he remembered Kútvölgyi Hospital. His mother had always been fond of privileges. She complained all the time that Lado's wife, unlike her, his mother, had the chance to see doctors in Kútvölgyi. His mother viewed Kútvölgyi Hospital as a health paradise where even corpses could be revived. Lado hated comrade privileges with a passion, and he himself chose not to take advantage of treatments at Kútvölgyi back when he had the chance. Socialism had been over for years. Lado had no idea how to get into Kútvölgyi nowadays, when, in theory, patients could choose their own hospitals. There existed, of course, a wide trench between practice and principle. Regardless, his mother would gladly go to Kútvölgyi if she was under the impression that it was a special privilege.